Next, we'll be tackling the bathroom fan so we can keep the moisture out of here.
Let's go back in time before the drywall.
What we're going to be installing is a inline fan instead of a fan in each room. And the reason for doing that is so we can go out through the roof with one penetration instead of two. In this area where you get snow, I want to limit the number of holes in the roof.
I planned on using this hurricane fan. Unfortunately, it sounded like a hurricane. Throughout this video, you'll see me attempting to make it quiet, but failing.
We're going to get started installing the roof exhaust vent through the roof here. This particular unit has a taller neck, so if the snow builds up, the air can still come out and vent out of the bathroom. What I want to do first is just cut out that round section so I know exactly where my hole is, and I'm just going to use a regular razor blade. These granules do a number on the blade. This won't last very long at all. If we orientate it this way, the snow can pile up and clog this as well. There's a flap on the inside of this that keeps the air from coming in, and it seals best in this position. We're going to pull up these upper shingles so they lap over this top edge. And especially when it's cold outside, take your time. Once you damage the shingle, you got to replace it, and that's not very much fun. The length of this collar is very similar to the thickness of our roofing system. So I'm going to actually have to connect the flex hose up to the roof collar before I put that down. Now that I have the pipe pulled up through the roof, I can apply the sealant to the vent. What I'm trying to do is work these shingles carefully away from this flange so I can get the flange all the way down, and the roofing is what actually sends the water down and out. Now that I've got that mostly set down, I can go ahead and use my sealant for the flashing. So this time I'm going to try this stuff called Through the Roof. Haven't used it before, not sure about it, but it's not all black, so it won't get everywhere. The stuff I've used in the past is kind of like tar, super messy to work with. So this has come suggested by different people, and I'll give it a shot. I know I could have put the sealant down before this, but in the past when I do that, it gets everywhere. I got the underlayer pretty well sealed. I'm gonna go ahead and push this down into the sealant, and I'm using special roofing nails for this installation. They're what they call ring shank, so there's a bunch of ribs on the shaft of this nail, and there's actually a rubber washer at the top. And the whole point of this is the ring shank will make it so it won't come out as easily when it expands and contracts with the heat and cool, and the rubber gasket just helps keep it from leaking. These nails are proving a little challenging because I don't know where that hole is. Ouch. And apparently I'm trying to use my hand in the middle, which doesn't help. If you really want a professional looking job, you can actually take your scraps of shingles and rub them together, which will knock the granules apart. And you put that on your sealant. They sell bags of granules, but why waste the money when you got them for free here on the scraps? The fun thing about doing this, your hands and everything just end up getting covered in sealant. I think I like the fact that this stuff is clear so that I don't see as much on myself, but it's still pretty messy. To clean up, you're supposed to use mineral spirits for tools and surfaces and a citrus-based cleaner for your hands. According to the manufacturer, this stuff lasts 20 times longer than asphalt.
I ended up finding a better fan that was supported by straps instead of mounted to this board. It was much quieter.
Additionally, we have a flexible duct up here, and this flexible duct is the one that we have connected to the outside. We applied the Pookie, or the sealant, here, so this is well glued on, and then we also have the worm drive clamp to really clamp it on there. Now we're going to work on the lower section here as it goes to the two bathrooms. This is a 4x4x4 Y, and allows us to come in from each of the bathrooms, combine the air, and then go up. I think what I'm going to do is angle my Y so this straight one goes straight down and into this first bathroom, and the other one that 45's off will go into the second bathroom. I'm going to install one of these registered ducts, so I'll have a rectangular duct in the wall. I have the vaulted ceiling, so I don't have a way to hide a fan or a duct in the ceiling. I was able to locate a 6-inch coupling. will be able to get me from my 4-inch duct to my register boot. I like these screws because they don't have that weird metal tip. I'm going to leave it disconnected for now so I can finish all of my framing. Once this boot gets installed to the studs, then I can come in and hook the flexed up to it, and I won't have any weird kinks in it.
Framing this upper section was a little complicated, and I ended up building it in 2 sections, on the left and the right. I then added bracing for around the vent and applied the drywall with no problems.
We're progressing through this bathroom, and it's about time that we install the duct cover. We're going to use this one by Fitties, which embeds into the drywall. I'm going to use the hot mud kind of as the glue to hold it in. We'll try to work it into these cracks. So I have a good key. This is going to be a very rough coat, and that's fine. Just trying to build up the base so I can come through with my top coats later. There's a few reasons why I like this hot mud for this situation. It's more like plaster of Paris than it is drywall mud, and it won't melt with the moisture. I just want structural more than I want aesthetic. I can fix the aesthetics later as long as I don't build up too thick.
Thanks for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, please hit subscribe and follow along as we put on the finishing touches in this tiny bathroom.